Hello and welcome. Today, we are beginning a deep dive into one of the most influential, fascinating, and deceptive pieces of literature to survive from the ancient world, Julius Caesar's Commentaries on the Gallic War. This isn't just a dry historical account. It is a masterpiece of political propaganda, a thrilling war memoir, and a carefully constructed narrative designed for one primary purpose: to burnish the legend of Julius Caesar himself. We're starting with Book 1, which covers the pivotal events of 58 BC. This book sets the stage for everything that follows. It establishes Caesar's voice, his justification for war, and the persona he wants to sell to the people of Rome. So, let's pull back the curtain on this 2,000-year-old piece of strategic self-promotion and see what really happened in that first, fateful year of the Gallic Wars. Before we march into Gaul, we must understand the man holding the pen. In 58 BC, Gaius Julius Caesar was 42 years old. He was a brilliant, ambitious, and massively in-debt Roman politician. He had just managed to secure for himself a plum job, the governorship of two provinces, Cisalpine Gaul, that's northern Italy, and Illyricum in the Balkans, with Transalpine Gaul, southern France, added shortly after. This governorship was his golden ticket. It gave him imperium, the legal authority to command armies. For a man like Caesar, drowning in debt and locked in a power struggle with rivals like Pompey and Crassus, this was an opportunity to gain massive wealth through conquest and, more importantly, military glory, which was the ultimate currency in Roman politics. But there was a catch. His governorship gave him no legal authority over the vast, independent territory of what he calls long-haired Gaul, the rest of France, Belgium, and parts of Switzerland. Any military action there could be seen as an illegal, unauthorized war of aggression, a crime for which he could be prosecuted upon his return to Rome. So, how does he solve this problem? He writes his way out of it. The Commentaries, likely written a few years later, were dispatches sent back to be read aloud in the Roman Forum. Their audience was the Senate, the common people, and his soldiers. Every word is chosen for a purpose. His goal is not objectivity. His goal is to build his reputation, his dignitas, and to justify his actions. He must always appear not as the aggressor, but as the defender. That is the central thesis of the entire work, and it is established perfectly in Book 1. Caesar doesn't open the book with himself. He begins with a geography lesson. His famous first line, Gallia est omnis divisa in partes tres. All Gaul is divided into three parts. Immediately, he's framing this foreign, complex land in neat, understandable, Roman terms. He identifies the Belgi in the north, the Aquitani in the southwest, and the Celts in the center. He then focuses our attention on one specific tribe, the Helvetii, located in what is now Switzerland. He introduces their leader, Ariovistus, who convinces his people that their mountainous territory is too confined for their numbers and their renown. He devises a plan. They will burn their 12 towns and 400 villages to the ground, making retreat impossible, and migrate en masse to the rich coastal lands of Western Gaul. Now, Caesar adds a layer of conspiracy. Ariovistus secretly conspires with two powerful nobles from other tribes, Casticus of the Sequani and Dumnorix of the Aedui, to seize power and rule all of Gaul together. The conspiracy is discovered. Ariovistus dies under mysterious circumstances, but the Helvetian plan for migration continues unabated. Why does Caesar include this? Because it frames the Helvetii not just as migrants, but as a destabilizing, expansionist force. They are not innocent, they are a threat, and their chosen migration route is a problem. The easiest path lay straight through the Roman province of Transalpine Gaul. Caesar, now on the scene, acts. He races to the province, fortifies the bank of the Rhone River, the natural border, and flatly denies the Helvetians passage. This is his first action in the book, and it is perfectly legitimate. He is a Roman magistrate defending the integrity of Roman territory. Frustrated, The Helvetii take a more difficult route through the territories of the Sequani and the Aedui. And here, Caesar finds his golden ticket, his casus belli. The Aedui, he tells us, are officially brothers and kinsmen of the Roman people. They send envoys to Caesar, begging for help against the Helvetian depredations. Suddenly, Caesar's role transforms. He is no longer just defending a Roman border, he is answering the call of a beleaguered ally. He argues that if he allows a powerful, militant group like the Helvetii to settle next to the vulnerable Roman province, they will become a permanent threat. His war is now a preemptive defense. It's a brilliant rhetorical move. Caesar acts with stunning speed. He marches his legions north, out of his province and into independent Gaul, a move of breathtaking audacity. There's a small cavalry skirmish where his allied Gauls are routed by a smaller Helvetian force. But Caesar spins this not as a defeat, but as a valuable lesson that taught his men not to underestimate the enemy. He shadows the massive migration. Caesar claims there were 368,000 people, a number modern historians find wildly inflated, until he finds the perfect terrain for a battle near the Aeduan town of Bibracte. The Battle of Bibracte is our first full taste of Caesar's battle narrative, and it's a masterclass. He positions his 4 veteran legions in the classic triplex aces, the 3-line formation, on a slope. The Helvetians form a dense phalanx and charge uphill. The Romans wait, then hurl their pila, those heavy javelins designed to bend on impact, pinning shields and disrupting the enemy front ranks. Then they draw their swords and charge. At a critical moment, the Helvetian rear ranks begin to outflank the Romans. Caesar coolly orders his 3rd line to wheel and face this new threat, while the first 2 lines continue pressing the original attack. This is a key moment. He's showcasing not just brute force, but Roman discipline, tactical flexibility, and his own calm command under pressure. The Helvetians are routed. Caesar pursues them for days. They eventually surrender, exhausted and starving. His terms are harsh. They must return to their original, burned-out homeland to serve as a buffer zone against other German tribes. He then delivers his final tally. From that initial 368,000, only 110,000 survivors return home. The numbers are almost certainly exaggerated, but the message to his Roman readers is crystal clear. I, Julius Caesar, have single-handedly identified and utterly annihilated a massive threat to our security. I am your protector. No sooner is the Helvetian threat neutralized than a new, more dangerous one emerges. A council of Gallic chiefs approaches Caesar. But before he tells us what they said, he does something fascinating. He pauses the narrative for an ethnography, a study of the people, of the Germans. This is not a neutral anthropological report. This is deliberate propaganda designed to make the next enemy seem utterly terrifying and alien. He describes German society as nomadic, warlike, and defined by a brutal ethos. They spurn agriculture, believing it makes men soft. Their greatest glory is to create a desolate wasteland around their borders. Their cavalry fights mixed with infantry, which Romans found unusual and fearsome. He is creating the ultimate, barbarian, other. They are not like the Gauls, who have towns and government. These Germans are a primitive, savage, existential threat to civilization itself. This digression serves to heighten the stakes immensely. Defeating the Helvetii was impressive. Defeating the Germans would be legendary. The Gallic chiefs now speak. They tell a story of how, years earlier, the Sequani tribe had invited the German king Ariovistus and his Suebi tribe across the Rhine to help them in a war. Ariovistus came, helped them win, and then never left. More and more Germans poured across the river. Ariovistus seized a third of the Sequani's best land and was demanding another third for another tribe. He had also brutally defeated the Aedui, Rome's allies. They plead with Caesar. They say if he does not help, all of Gaul will be forced to flee or submit to German rule. And they deliver the crucial warning: once Ariovistus is master of Gaul, he will not stop at the border of the Roman province. The threat is established. Caesar, once again the protector, summons Ariovistus to a parley. What follows is a fantastic piece of fabricated dialogue. Caesar puts into Ariovistus's mouth the most arrogant, hubristic boasts. The German king essentially says, "I won, so I can do what I want. This is my land now. The right of war belongs to the victor. Who are you, Rome? Mind your own business or I will destroy you." It's the perfect villain speech, written by the hero. It makes Caesar's subsequent war seem not just justified, but necessary. But the true genius of this section isn't the battle itself. It's what happens before. Caesar's army, including his officers, is terrified. The fearsome reputation of the Germans has preceded them. Morale plummets. Mutiny is in the air. This is where Caesar showcases his greatest skill, not as a tactician, but as a leader of men. He calls a council and delivers a blistering speech. He shames them. He reminds them of their past victories. He questions the rumors of German invincibility. And then he delivers his masterstroke. He says that if no one else will follow him, he will march forward with only the 10th Legion, for he is sure of their loyalty. This is psychological brilliance. The 10th Legion is overjoyed at this incredible honor. The other legions are suddenly shamed and competitive. Overnight, the army's terror is transformed into a fierce desire to prove itself. He united them not by order, but by inspiring loyalty and competition. The battle against Ariovistus, the Battle of Vosges, is chaotic. Caesar describes omens and fear on the German side. The fighting is fierce, but Roman discipline prevails. A young officer, Publius Crassus, son of the Triumvir, maneuvers the reserves and turns the tide. Ariovistus flees back across the Rhine, never to be heard from again in the Commentaries. The German threat is, for now, utterly shattered. So, what has Julius Caesar accomplished in this first book? First, he has established his justification. He provided two ironclad reasons for intervening in Gaul, crushing a migrating horde and expelling a savage German invader. He is the defender of Rome's allies and the Roman province itself. He is never the aggressor. Second, he has constructed his persona. He is Caesar the brilliant strategist, outmaneuvering the Helvetii at Bibracte. He is Caesar the fearless leader, staring down Ariovistus. And he is Caesar the inspirational commander, steadying his terrified troops with his faith in the 10th Legion. Third, he has defined the stakes. The conflict is framed as a clash between Roman order, discipline, and civilization versus Gallic instability and Germanic barbarian chaos. He is the bulwark against the tide of darkness. He ends the book calmly, putting his army into winter quarters and heading back to his province to administer justice. The situation is stable, but by his actions, crossing the Rhine in a literary sense to describe the Germans, and by establishing a permanent Roman military presence in Gaul, he has already hinted that the story is far from over. His intervention has irrevocably shattered the balance of power in Gaul, making further conflict not just likely, but inevitable. Book 1 of the Gallic Wars is more than a history. It is the opening argument in a 7-book speech that Caesar will use to justify a decade of conquest, enrich himself beyond measure, and build an army personally loyal to him. It sets the stage for the fall of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Caesars. It is the foundation of a legend, meticulously built one word at a time. Thank you for joining me for this breakdown of Book 1. In our next video, we'll see how Caesar's actions in this first year directly lead to an even wider war, as he takes on the fearsome Belgi in Book 2. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Until next time.